Subscribe to the channel.
You'll be excited and erotic.
We promise.
You'll want to come back.
Here we are, and we are here with the esteemed panel that just saw Deadpool. These are the finest comic, the finest movie watching, and the finest minds ever. And we brought them all here together
I feel
today.
like we should all high five now.
I'm not gonna introduce them. I'm not giving names. And I may forget some of their names because it's too much awesomeness in one room. But we're gonna forgive each other if that happens. We're just gonna have a nice open discussion, and we're gonna see what we kind of learn about Deadpool. Now, this is gonna be filled with spoilers. If anybody wants to complain that they got too many spoilers by watching this, stop watching it, go watch the movie, come back and watch this, and then shut your pie hole about the spoilers. Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna ask my editor to put the word spoiler alert over this too. And I wait to see how many of you will actually complain in the comment section about spoilers. Have you ever complained about spoilers?
No.
We're not gonna do it here. That's not what we do here. All right. Are you guys ready for your first challenge?
Bring it.
All right, I'm gonna start with Ray. Ray, I want you to give me 3 words describing your experience today at Deadpool.
Dark, funny, musical.
Patty.
Great. Hilarious. Excellent.
I forgot your name. I'm terrible, but your sweater's amazing.
Yeah, right?
Name's Darlene.
Darlene! One of the greatest comic minds. Darlene, 3 words.
Amazing, violent, and funny.
Use the B word.
Han, would you call it filthy, smutty, yummy, scrumptious?
Ooh, yummy.
Scrumptious,
Yummy?
vulgar.
All right, let's get serious about some things here. I need to know a few things. What did you guys honestly feel about Colossus and the way he looked? I'm having,
Amazing.
okay?
Not a silver Hulk.
But
That's
does,
good.
does he not ever convert to human?
I know, it's
I mean,
kind of
Okay, here we go.
We're talking organic
I told you
steel.
there'd be spoilers.
We're talking organic steel, and he
Okay.
can go back to human.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too.
You know, when you're...
I think it was a cost thing.
That's true, but his weight is such in the comics when he's
Yeah.
in his, his organic, metal form that the taxi would have not been able to go because he weighs 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, but it did, go over the pothole pretty bad.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, but I mean, jam 1,200 pounds into the back of a taxi.
I liked it when he was drinking
Yeah,
coffee.
Superman flies. I don't know how. I'm okay.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Well, sure, it's a suspension of disbelief.
Now, if he actually turns back to human, does he turn into that really goofy-looking teenage kid in the Bryan Singer films? Because if that's the case, I don't want it.
Yeah, hopefully
I'm
not.
not okay with it.
Agreed.
I'm happy you went to this really bizarre, 50-year-old Russian guy all of a sudden. I thought that was pretty awesome. I was okay with that. Anybody else have any comments about the Colossus? Well, how many of you are familiar with the whole history of Colossus?
Just playing with the action figures as a
Eh,
kid.
it's my favorite X-Men.
Movies.
Well, we could really dig deep into Colossus if we
Well, that's maybe later.
My feeling with the Colossus issue is it's also to bring in the Russian fans to feel a connection to the movies.
I didn't think about that. That's nice.
There's a lot of movies that are doing that where they're bringing in Chinese elements, Russian elements to make the movies
More
more
international.
marketable.
I'm
So,
in.
it's all about money.
It's all about money.
It is. I mean, Deadpool, hello, all about money. Marketing.
Thank heavens.
I don't know. I kind of
Give us what we want so we'll pay for it.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
It's no longer a...
All right, I want to get some stuff out there. Then we're going to have some open discussion. I want to hear your challenges with the film. What challenges did you have?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, really?
Well, this is the first thing I've actually enjoyed in it.
Oh, that's not a challenge. That's an
It
enjoy.
is a challenge going to a movie thinking that Ryan Reynolds is starring in it. For me, at least.
So you actually had some bad feelings going into the movie.
I'm just not a Ryan Reynolds fan.
Are you now?
How do you feel?
I think I can't imagine anybody else being as good as he was.
Who's talking to me about that? You were talking to me about that.
So I think he really impressed me.
He spent 11 years trying to get this movie made. The movie would not have been made without Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
And we have to always think about it's not necessarily the actor that comes up with the lines or the directing, of course. A reason why Green Lantern stuff didn't really have as much to do with Ryan Reynolds as much as everything else that was happening with it.
I would agree, even though I did really appreciate that nod to the crappiness of Green Lantern in the beginning.
Exactly.
I love that.
I appreciate that big time. That's when I knew I was going to love the movie, when I saw that. You were mentioning, because I would have to agree, I couldn't imagine anybody doing a better job than Ryan Reynolds
No.
in that film.
No, it was along the lines
His
of-
delivery of those lines, perfect. No one could do it
Well,
better.
without the Ryan Reynolds jokes, it wouldn't have been as funny of a movie.
You know, fat boy jokes.
Yeah, it made it very personable to the audience.
Yeah.
It made me want to like him right off the bat.
The big concern I have for this movie is 10 years from now, with all the current pop culture references that he did, 10 years from now, will those viewers know what those references are? It's going to date itself, but it's fine.
Isn't that what
Is it a matter of getting the money now, though?
Usually,
What, are we trying to make the Godfather here?
Which was mentioned.
That's true. What was your thought? You were thinking about that as far as Robert Downey Jr. with
Oh,
Iron Man
absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
There's
with
no
Iron
one
Man.
better to play.
There was
Tony
no one
Stark.
that could have played Tony Stark better than Robert Downey Jr. did at the time for the actors that we had available for the role. And I think most people, including myself, was a little hesitant seeing that Robert Downey Jr. was going to play Tony Stark. And then you think about it for 5 seconds. You know, millionaire, playboy, alcoholic. He was perfect for the role. And I think that this is another film that set that bar again, where Deadpool is the perfect Ryan Reynolds.
Well, and Ryan Reynolds has always been really cocky to me in a way that was obnoxious, and I think that's why a lot of people are put off by his movies. And I know there's probably been something he's been that I've liked, but I can never think of it later because his personality is so over the top about how great am I that it kind of overshadows the movies to me.
I mean, I know he's always joking at
Yeah,
it.
he is.
And it's funny, but sometimes you get distracted because you see the personal life versus the movie, and so you're starting to forget what the movie was so good about while you're seeing the Ryan Reynolds standard fat boy joke concept. And here it was perfect.
Did anybody here not like the movie? There will be no public land. Well, I will land base you a little bit.
No, I was
Disagree with me in any way.
I was really expecting not to like the movie.
Okay.
That was my premise going into it, that in the end I was going to have to sit in my store every day and have people come in talking about how great the movie was, and I was going to have to give some lines of BS about, yeah, I really liked this part, or this was, you know, a little bit here was kind of funny, and trying to be where I could be truthful, but really where I was thinking, man, I really am happy this is a rated R movie and we don't have to play it in our store nonstop with customers and they're interacting. And now I'm kind of thinking, wow, it's sad I can't play it in my store in the background and interact with customers with it, because it you know, does go over the top with, you know, language and violence and body
Thank
parts.
heavens.
No, seriously,
Yeah.
they needed to have
Yeah,
that.
it did.
A PG-13 movie would have been a complete
No.
waste.
Right, and I've been talking to people since like last November that have like 10-year-old sons that are like wanting to see this movie so bad, telling them Deadpool is not a children's thing. It might sound like it's funny, it might look like it's funny, you know, he's a funny character, but it is not children. There's nothing about the comic that's for children, nothing about the movie that will be for children. So it's great that,
For your child's appropriate
yeah,
age.
or
I would
told
agree.
them to
I'm a
watch it
terrible
first.
father, so I'm gonna bring the kids.
How old are your kids though?
However, we don't want the government coming over to my place because I took them to Deadpool. So that's about as far as I'll say about that. Let's see how far we get into that. All right. So y'all like the movie? Here's some of the beefs I had. Let's see if we can get some. How easy was it for him to beat the villain in the beginning, but he was beating the crap out of him in the middle and the end of the movie? So Deadpool beat the snot out of that villain right in the beginning of the movie, but he seemed to really have a hard
Okay.
time.
But he's getting all that stuff injected to him at the very beginning, so he's probably at his optimal level right then and there when he's kicking his ass. And let's be honest, he didn't really kick his ass too much. He got his ass handed to him.
I don't know. What do you think?
You mean in the beginning?
Like,
Technically the middle of the movie where he was
Oh, they were doing the whole
naked and they
time
were
like
doing the
that.
whole fighting thing.
I understand him having a hard time there.
Yeah,
But at
because he was
the end of the movie, they really, it seemed pretty evenly matched. In the beginning, it seemed like Deadpool could just beat him
well,
easily.
I have to say, in the end of the movie, when they were on the carrier,
Spoiler! I warned you.
spoiler. He
There's
was
a
already-
carrier and they're on it in the Battle of Villain.
he was already pretty beaten up by the time, even the landing up there. I mean, he was being thrust up there and he was
Right.
hanging on by a finger. He was already winded when he got up there to start the fight. So he does have to recover.
Oh my God, she came in! She's horrible! Hey, Johanna's here, late, sponsored by Dragonvine,
The point with the no.
the most amazing comic book in Tchotchke's place
Like I
anywhere.
thought with Deadpool is in the beginning, he was like Twilight, where once they've got the blood in the very beginning, super strong. And with Deadpool, he's super strong in the very beginning and super buff. But no, I'm saying that as a joke. But
I just wanted to point out you've watched Twilight.
yeah, in truth, I agree. He got stabbed in the head. He hanging from the
Yeah.
areas. He already had problems, so it was kind of a weaker. He was kind of.
No one else had a problem with it. did they?
Did you not see the little cartoon characters when he got stabbed
He
Yeah.
had
in the
like
head?
some brain things going on. His brain had
yeah.
to heal.
Yeah.
Serious spoilers.
Fine.
It's
Well,
happening.
you also have, I think one of the other points too about that, with the story that I was talking about, is in the beginning,
Oh, man.
chronologically when he fights him the
friendly.
first time, it's motivation, character motivation. That first time he's already resigned himself that he's not going back to see this girl. He's going to die or he's about to die. He doesn't have much to go on for, so he's not necessarily going to fight as hard as he could. Whereas the next couple times they run into each other, he has very good motivation and he really wants to kick his ass.
What's the best cameo in Deadpool?
You have to say Stan Lee. You have to.
No, I
You
think
can't
it's
say anything
his
else.
own. I think it's Deadpool's own cameo. I think he's his own best cameo.
His own best cameo?
Yeah.
Really?
So you
Stan
think
Lee own best cameo?
No.
Right.
Deadpool.
No.
Deadpool is his own best cameo.
Deadpool his own best cameo?
you don't think as Ryan?
I'm gonna
Reynolds?
get my head wrapped around that. Anybody else?
His own being self-aware of himself, being
Yeah.
in the film, and being a cameo of himself within
Oh, I see what you said there.
Thank you.
Got it. Wasn't understanding.
Because I would also
No,
have
I
to
didn't.
agree that Stan Lee wasn't the best cameo. And not because of Stan Lee, because I love the man and I love to see him in everything that he's gonna do, but because Deadpool didn't say something about Stan Lee being in the movie. That's what should have happened. And
No, I'm not going to explain where the situation is in the movie, but the Hugh Jackman moment was wonderful.
Oh,
That
yeah, it
was-
was great.
That was good.
That was.
Okay,
Yeah, that
I'm
was
gonna
one of
say
my
come out.
favorites.
I didn't recognize the face. I didn't know whose face that was.
Really?
I was sitting there going, he stapled that guy's face to his own face. That's what I noticed.
I-
Dave, you knew that.
I knew exactly what it was.
Oh.
I did love that his made-up action figure that had the one little spike coming that had been.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I
that
guess
was
there was a
good.
lot of Ryan Reynolds cameos, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Wow. Not too
That's
shabby.
the actual action figure from X-Men Origins.
I believe you.
My favorite was the Rob Liefeld cameo. Did you guys catch it?
Yep.
Oh, look. They have the stunned faces. Jeez.
Paul Bell.
Right as they walk into the bar.
You could just tell he had a really hard time. This character had a hard time with Rob Liefeld. You don't. It's okay. You're here to look really nice.
Now all the
for
Easter
camera.
eggs in it.
For the record, this has
Oh,
alcohol.
do I get to ask the questions?
What would
now?
you like? There's nothing in there for you
Oh,
to read. I made some comments about you in there that you might.
Oh, are they good ones?
No, I'll let you read it later.
Fine.
Addie!
Fine.
All the
Dodged
Easter
a bullet
eggs.
there.
All the Easter eggs in it were wonderful
Howdy
too.
smells like.
Pardon?
All the Easter eggs in it were
Patty or
wonderful too.
Patty?
Such as?
Well, first of all, when you're
Patty
seeing
Reynolds.
Marrow in it, she's the lady with the bone sticking out of her back.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing Bob, who for a couple comics was the sidekick of Deadpool. He was a Mr. Hydra. He was a Hydra agent. You of course see Stan Lee in it.
I should
You
write these down because I don't.
see the whole Ryan Reynolds moment in it.
You can watch the video later.
Yeah.
The other Easter egg that was wonderful is they had 3 days to shave off $7 million of filming in there. So they had to cut out characters. So what happens is in the X-Men's Xavier Mansion moment, you have Deadpool coming in going, I thought there were more of you.
Oh yeah, that was.
So that's
hilarious.
because they shaved $7 million in 3 days.
Oh,
So they cut all the mutants
So
out.
there were
Got
supposed to
it.
be more.
I still thought
You
that
just
was
you just
pretty
kind of ruined that
great.
moment in that movie for me. How does that make you feel?
You weren't here when I gave the spoiler talk to the audience. Yeah, we're gonna ruin this for a lot of people. You haven't seen
Oh, well,
it.
I figured that's what we were doing.
Yeah, we're gonna ruin it for a lot of people.
There's no such thing as a review without spoilers. Otherwise, then you're just talking about it. Can we
It's
say
always
that?
amazing. Someone always seems they want to say something though. She's cool, man. All right.
That's what edit buttons for.
How do you match? How do you match that or top it in the sequel?
Cable.
I know he's already very clear about that.
Yeah,
Like,
Or
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He made Cable sound cooler than him when he,
Character.
explains
I'm gonna
it.
get you some comments before you leave. We're gonna catch you up on some stuff. It'd be awesome.
Mrs. Deadpool, or Dead Dog. What was the dog's name again?
Dogpool.
Dogpool. Thank you. That goes to be
Yeah.
nice touches.
Bring open the whole Dead universe, all the cool characters. The female
Deadpool.
Deadpool, the dog
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Because that,
everybody.
Ideally,
I mean, do you go over the top? Do you do like the Spider-Mans? All of a sudden you have 20 villains in one movie, which now it's all of a sudden over the top?
That
Or
movie gave me cancer.
how do you make that just as good or better? Because that was pretty great, what I just saw.
number
I-
3 could be Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and just invite everyone in.
That'd be
Sure.
Have you, yes?
Just you
yes,
know,
huh?
just don't make it sappy and happy, and let's just have some really good. Like, I loved when he cut his hand off.
Well,
Oh, that was so
baby
good.
head.
Baby
Well, and then he's talking about, you know, how giant he'll feel in it. It's like, that's just, oh, your her was awesome.
can we, yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
Can we discuss, that was actually one of the nicest romantic movies. It was really a lovely, it was quite a nice love story, I
It was
think.
heartwarming. All the way
Yeah.
through.
I think it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the unicorn was the best.
The special
Which
edition
one?
mayonnaise.
The
At the
cartoon
end?
one or the,
No,
or
the stuffed
plush one?
animal.
I started giggling pretty loud because you have to understand Johanna's relationship with unicorns. Why I laughed really hysterical sitting by her. First time I watched it.
What is your relationship with unicorns? Oh, X-rated. For sure.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
It was awesome. I
So
get
you really
that.
identified with parts of the movie.
Oh, the whole thing. It was
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
Matt,
What?
how did you feel about all the sex in the movie?
All the sex in the movie wasn't enough.
Did you love that strip club?
It was my favorite part.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The boobies?
No.
No?
No.
No.
It was pretty unrealistic to have that many girls on the stage at the same time because they wouldn't be competing for the same
No,
dollars.
time out. That's not true.
I was gonna say, I've been to many of them and I love them, and
I'm just saying, when you have to deal with the dancers, they don't like the competition on the stage.
that's what they get up there and
I
do
didn't
their
know that.
dances for.
Oh.
He's an expert. He
I
knows.
ran
That's all right.
I've run a couple of clubs for a few years, you know.
He's a professional.
Nice.
You know, I have that in my past.
Were they gentlemen's club?
Should we open
There
up
are
a new
very
one
few
here?
gentlemen that came through the door.
Okay. Oh, it's Jeff and Jeff's here!
Yeah!
Very nice. Watch out for Jeff.
So you get to display
So,
yourself
wait, he had the
without
house?
a shirt and stand right in front of the camera and do a little booty shaking. Oh yeah!
But if you were
Jeez.
Deadpool, wouldn't you actually moon?
So the guy that just
that's
walked
why I
in,
said take it off.
Oh, right.
he's the owner of Red 5 Hot Dogs, and he has the finest wieners ever in the history of wieners.
Why didn't you show us?
They're juicy.
Ooh, I like that.
And his
They
motto
sort of
is he wants to
remember
put his
their
wieners in your
plans.
mouth. That being said,
Need to get back
anybody
to
have
the
any
cigarette
comments,
in the front of the
anything they
camera.
want to say, some statements about the movie you just watched or the world in general? Dave.
Tim Miller is one of the best new directors I have seen. The directing in that movie was fantastic. While it followed a kind of a standard plot structure, I thought that the way that they wove back and forth in time was awesome. Awesome.
I did like that.
The
quite a
flash forward and back I thought was very, very well used.
It was done better than most movies.
Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
it was coherent and it made sense.
Do you think
yeah,
people are
there's no
going to miss
confusion.
out on how well directed it was just because it's a superhero
No,
film?
because
I agree.
No.
we're
It was
telling them right
brilliantly
now.
directed.
The directing was
They're going to
amazing.
watch this and they'll know.
Yeah.
As
Will it
just
get
as-
the respect by the Academy Award that it should?
No,
No,
it will
of
not.
Of course not.
No.
Sons of bitches.
You
The
can't.
craft will absolutely be overshadowed by the content.
My favorite part though was when he was like, and now you're all caught up.
Yeah. The breaking the fourth wall was done so tastefully that it wasn't obnoxious.
The 16th wall.
That was such a
16th,
surprise.
you're right.
16th wall.
16th. Sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention.
That's what I'm here for.
But as for Jeff's opinion, but he fell asleep halfway through the movie.
I only fell asleep for a very. I
Johanna
hardly
was
missed
there.
any. I hardly missed anything.
We had Jeff's face lean back, and then Johanna and I looked around his face going, who sleeps through this kind of a movie? So,
Maybe he really needed some rest, you know? Maybe he was up all night.
Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you for
Making
knowing my defense.
wieners!
Were you
Someone who doesn't even know me, Matt.
she is
Were you just
used to
reenacting
making,
Deadpool for
Yeah.
the
wow,
Didn't go.
making excuses for everyone. That's Patty for you.
making excuses?
You know, perhaps, Matt, you don't know the whole story.
Well, you
Let me
don't
tell you.
know the
Let me
whole
tell you
story.
some perhaps some situations. Could be happening.
Could
Maybe you
be
need to
1, 2, or
understand
3.
more. You should understand more, Matt.
Should be unconditionally loving these people.
I do.
No.
Do. I said
It's all
do
about
twice.
love.
Ray,
And
any
violence.
thoughts? Any final
See,
thoughts
this
you
is
want
why I
to say?
put this here for.
I think one of the
So it
main
could
things
be-
about not just
Yeah.
Deadpool, but
It was like Deadpool.
superhero films in general is they're getting a lot better at using the powers more interestingly. Well, in ways that aren't quite what we're used to 10, 15, 20 years ago. So the budgets have gotten bigger. They're able to do things and like the little baby hand.
Oh, that was great.
Weird, creepy little stuff like that.
It
And
might have
it's
been my favorite scene.
fantastic. Oh, it was wonderful.
That wasn't my favorite.
Would it feel bigger now? I don't know. Let's find out.
It totally would.
Yeah, but then there's still little parts of it, I think, of the film that are, and it's just a nitpicky one kind of a thing, where they're torture scenes, where they've got all the different people that are
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to bring out the genes. While the tortures were good, you miss a big opportunity in a world of mutants to do relatively pedestrian torture.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
there are
think
a
it's
lot more
pedestrian
things
if it's
to do.
being done to you.
Well, but you have mutants that can do a lot worse things than anything.
But weren't they trying to activate the mutant gene?
Yeah,
But they already
and
had
they were
slave
turning them
mutants.
into
They already
slaves,
had.
so they
Oh,
could totally make them do
Oh,
the
so they missed the
torture.
opportunity for some coolness.
That would have no. I feel like that would have
Sequel.
diverted from the movie.
I agree, and they might have actually had to pay extra royalties.
Dang it! Yes! Oh!
Yeah,
So what
Sony
do I make
actually
the budget?
has the rights to mutants. That's why in all of the other Marvel stuff, they actually call them enhanced.
I was surprised when they used the word
Meta.
mutant because I had understood it's really difficult to use that word. It costs a lot of money to actually use
Well,
the
they
word.
actually own the rights to that word.
Sony does.
Wait,
yeah.
we can do that in this world?
In this world, yes, there are mutants.
Can I like no, having rights to the word.
Oh,
Can I have the
Okay.
right to the word boobies? Like
Well, it's the same thing with
As
superheroes.
if I can play with yours, yeah.
no.
I'm working on getting the right stuff for Munda cheese.
That's a good one.
Anytime someone uses that,
I mean,
$5.
look
$5
at
every
look
time.
at how
Doesn't-
stupid Donald Trump
$5.
is, and he's got "You're fired."
Say it.
Donald Trump
No, say for Munda cheese.
from under cheese.
no, you said it wrong.
Oh well,
If you say it right, you owe me $5.
I'm never
Anybody
gonna
else
say it
have
right.
anything? Yes.
And I wish Deadpool would do the same stuff that he did to Francis to,
Can we just
some of these
have,
political people.
have we talked about how much I enjoyed the fact that he kept calling him Francis?
I know, that was pretty good.
Great.
What's my name?
Spelled it out
I
with
love
dead
the body.
people.
Yeah, no. That was classic. I had to actually clap.
He was like,
Like
hey.
each people you could hear clapping. Yeah.
So does anyone think that he might have actually found Francis earlier if he had used his code name? Because no one calls him
Ajax.
Francis.
You know, I thought that too.
So if
It's
he'd been like, hey, where's Francis? Ajax? Maybe somebody been like, oh, I know where that guy is. I don't know who Francis is.
No,
though."
but I
he
think
was
using-
doing that.
Seriously.
You're
I
right.
think
He was just
using his
saying
name
Francis.
He
though
was.
was part of the whole humiliation process.
Absolutely.
He
but he
seemed
was
to be
really
killing
looking
everyone,
for
though.
him.
Yeah.
But
He was
he's
killing
like-
everyone, so there was no one left alive to say, I don't know what this guy's doing, but he's looking for Francis. I mean, he seemed to be slaughtering them all.
Yeah.
So there was no
That's-
one left to.
that's
I mean,
what you
you
do
have to
with
leave
Francis.
someone partially alive saying the name Francis for it to have made it back.
Yeah.
Because he talked about how many people
He
he
did
killed.
start saying boss in some of them though.
Yeah, well, he said, who's your boss? But then he said
Francis.
Francis. So, because he wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily.
go for
Who
it.
knew if he was the actual boss? Because I doubt he was the actual boss. He was just the head of, the torturing.
His branch.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of made me question that because who was he answering to?
Which we'll probably find out in number 2.
Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, someone was redoing that carrier.
Yep.
So who was the money supporting that carrier? What was the bigger...
And who was supporting him doing all the
Right.
mutant testing and
Because he
torturing?
was, I didn't feel like he was the boss. I just felt like
okay.
he was the person in charge of creating the new mutants.
But it kind of makes you wonder at the beginning when he's sitting there setting up that arm deal and it's just like, yeah. Because he seems like he's in charge right there.
Well,
And then the rest of the movie, it's like he's not.
Right, well, he said, supply chain.
Yep.
So I think he was just the person responsible for delivering is what I felt like.
Mm.
Because he's the really strong guy,
Yeah.
he's the
a
muscle.
mutant.
Yeah, so I felt there was someone else. There was some kind of an organization.
I would imagine there has to be, because how do you get your hands on a shield helicarrier? Spoiler
Right.
alert, it was a shield helicarrier.
Jeez.
So it
They're
was!
on a shield
No, he just
helicarrier.
came out and said it!
Oh, I
It was
didn't
pretty,
even notice
pretty
Total
that.
destroyed.
shield
Oh,
helicarrier.
really? I thought that was the whole
Absolutely.
point of it. They pan it out so you know what it is.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
at first when I saw little pieces of is that really what I think it is? And then when they panned it out, I was like, yes, they showed it.
Totally shield helicarrier.
A lot of people are going to miss that. Not anymore.
Yep.
Hopefully not.
Oh,
I missed it until you said that. And then I had to think back and was like, oh,
Anything else they could have done better, or things that really bothered you?
I don't know if anybody has said that before, but I really liked the fact that the movie didn't take itself seriously.
Yeah,
Thank heavens.
That was great.
Oh, absolutely. It was always tongue in cheek.
Well, what things are you going to be talking to people about in the store?
Very.
What I'm going to be talking about basically is,
That was such a good
even
one.
though it's a rated R movie, don't be distracted by it. This is a new branch out for superhero movies. It's not the standard the world is ending kind of direction that allows them to express comedy or slapstick in one direction. Just like other movies of superheroes are going to be going other directions, hopefully. This is not going to be the cookie cutter style movie of a superhero. And I think
That's
that's
because he's
great
not a
opportunity.
superhero.
Right.
He says it through the whole thing.
Oh, the anti-hero is always
Yeah.
the powerful box office draw.
he was all about saving his
Powerful box
girlfriend.
office draw.
Powerful box office draw. Thank you. Wasn't that amazing?
Why?
Wait,
And you
let's
know,
pontificate a little more. Let's get deep about this.
Let me do
How
the box
many of
draw while I
you-
figure this out.
Hope and pray that they're really holding back what the actual apocalypse is going to look like, and that is just a ruse. All those friggin' previews they're doing of apocalypse.
I think they gave too much information for the trailer.
yeah.
We saw there's the trailer of the next X-Men film on there, and I'm just praying that's not the apocalypse they're going with.
I must have missed that when I went and got popcorn and soda.
You didn't miss anything,
I didn't.
because it's what I really hope they don't do.
Okay.
I hope they just surprise us
Well-
all and make that maybe the whiny henchman of apocalypse,
It's
which
the
Wayne Ray
trailer,
looks
right?
like to me. Oh, it's the trailer,
And they filmed it, right?
and they did film it.
Well, then I bet that's it.
I don't believe you.
Well, the first reveal of Apocalypse, he was kind of purpley. And since then, they have the character has changed.
I love it.
What we saw in the preview is not what we saw in his first image yet.
He's
Think
very
heavens.
gray.
The purpley Ivanus looking,
Yes,
yeah, that was
exactly.
bad. That was bad.
This is going back to the
His drawings
1990s
were
style of
awesome.
X-Men costumes, direction, choices.
Oh,
Jubilee. Yeah.
Hold on.
I was praying that maybe there's more than that, because I really hate it.
So speaking of Jubilee,
Oh, speaking of Jubilee,
the Negasonic Teenage Warhead, that character I thought was handled fantastically.
Oh,
we didn't,
She was
they
awesome.
didn't burden us with having to explain who she is or what she can do. She was there. They gave us a sentence. She's, I'm training her, and that's it. And she was badass.
I like movies that don't
Sounds
explain
like
everything.
Sounds like my
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't explain why Colossus is there. They don't explain. They didn't explain much of anything. Thank heavens.
Exactly.
Right.
He was gonna make him an X-Men suit.
We don't need to have everything explained to us. We get the fact it's a fantasy film.
I like that they
It's not
decided that the people that were watching it knew some things, especially that they'd watched these big popular movies that everyone's seen. So they felt like they didn't have to give too much of a creation story behind anything. I like when they think an audience is smart. In this movie, I felt made the audience, be smart. It didn't dumb it down.
It's its own. You feel like it's a complicated universe, and kind of like Tolkien or anything else, you don't have to explain every single little detail. And with that, it makes it a better movie, where you feel like it's more real.
I just don't think they care. They're just like, it's
You get a
Deadpool.
stopwatch on that?
Could I get a stopwatch on that?
Yes,
I sure
please.
could.
Can I get a what
We're
one?
gonna what? Stopwatch. All right. You were
Stop
saying.
your watch. What do we need a stopwatch for?
I'll let you know in a second.
The regular clock feature has it.
Yeah, you have to. I'm looking for it.
So
His
in the
crap is
picture
on.
that he
No, it's
has,
fine.
where he's
Whatever.
got the picture he drew of himself
Mhm.
cutting Francis,
There you go.
but Francis is wearing like a white suit. Is that something that's in the comics?
I couldn't tell you.
Not that I'm aware
He
of.
doesn't know.
Well, when he drew the little
Yeah, he's got
picture
the
and said,
crayon- the
has
crayon
anyone
drawing.
seen this guy?
Because it looks
Yeah.
like
It was just
him.
supposed to be funny.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah,
It looks more like he's cutting himself.
I
from,
know,
like,
because
his
that's what he
earlier-
looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just the point of, it was supposed to be so cartoonish no one could recognize it.
Yeah.
Some tea.
So-
Guys, we're gonna go around the table here. We're gonna give you 15 seconds to give your final statements on Deadpool or really anything that you saw, as long as you weren't watching me because I was doing some terrible things in that film. I hope
Especially
you
the
weren't watching.
women.
Yeah,
Yep, we
I
need
was
to
terrible.
put this on
Um,
the table. Well, here, you can make it better. I can make
Who
it
wants to go first?
better. Your face wants to go first.
All right, 15 seconds. Ready? Go.
The intro and the credits were fantastic. I love what they did for the intro on the names. The credits, the art, humor fit with the Deadpool movie. Very impressive.
That was 11.85 seconds, guys. That was nice. That was well done. What you think? Okay. You ready? Go.
I like the boobs.
1.66 seconds. Bam!
Bam!
Beat that! Yeah!
I agree.
Point. I did it. It's 0 seconds. I can't even say.
Well done.
Come back to tape. Good heavens. You ready, Ray? Go.
Music was fantastic. Deadpool is a character that will definitely see a franchise. Ryan Reynolds has found his milieu.
9.28 seconds. Not too shabby. That's pretty good. Jeff?
Sure.
Go.
I actually, my favorite scene, I think, was probably the pegging. I thought that was I think that's probably a first for Hollywood films. Very impressive. The
that
humor,
takes a real
of course,
man.
It does.
was over. Do I get my 15 seconds?
Just keep going. I'm gonna stop. You did get
I
interrupted.
think that the humor was over the top. What I really appreciated was the anticipation of the audience response. I think was really spectacular. That just kind of added to the whole punchline of the joke by building on the fact that they already knew how the audience was going to respond to those to the humor.
I gave him 27 seconds because he's a good personal friend and I can do what I want.
Besides that, he used up all this time that wasn't being used by other
What?
folks.
That's true. There was extra time. There was. Johanna,
What?
you already said yours.
I did.
It was just so efficient. Patty, did you say yours?
No. Do you want me to? Great intro song. Great intro. Reminded me of Monty Python and the Holy Grail in some parts.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
You know, with the joking around, kind of like the coconut thing.
Bam.
Yeah.
And the knight who kept getting his arms and legs cut.
Oh, that's true.
That's what it was.
Oh,
You ever heard of the one night?
parallels.
Exactly.
Nicely done. Hein, take it away.
Hello.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Anakin and Frank are gonna have to wait a couple years.
Aww.
Like to say that Han's actually a really good father, unlike myself.
I feel like they should be running up a rainbow here.
Oh, that's good.
You ready?
And then like,
Go.
I actually liked that he talked about how the girls that were there with their boyfriends, how they were told this was a superhero movie, and it sort of brought the audience in that were going like, what the F is going on here? And I also liked that the love story was actually a very good, sweet love story. Even though there was a lot of profane sex and oddness to it, you could tell they were two people that really liked each other in a very positive way. And I think that got you attached to the character in a way that made you root for him. Even no matter how many bad things he did, you were really rooting for him to make it through this safe and get to the other side.
I like it. I like what you said too. That's why I gave you 37 seconds. That's the most so far.
Wow.
I am a
Amazing.
babbler.
Would you like to say something more? Because
Yes.
All right, go.
I really liked that. Not only did they call out the difference in the Professor X's in McAvoy and Stewart, one of my favorite lines in the movie where he was making fun of that, but that's it. That's all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air like you just don't care.
You cared a little bit.
And that's our review of Deadpool. There you go. So there.
Yay.
Thanks, you fruitcakes. Hey.
I made this.
he's gonna murder you.
my name is Ray Nichols. Subscribe to Art Co-op TV because Matt will not let me go until you do.
Art Co-op TV. This is Shannon from Dragonvine.
Art Co-op TV, it's the thing to watch.
What's Art Co-op TV?
That's a great question, really.
Hi, I'm Boob One.
And I'm Boob too. Please subscribe to this channel.
Art Co-op TV.
Red Robot.
Art Co-op TV will co-opt your TV.
Ooh, I like that one too.
Oh.